Hey, what's up everybody? Ray here. Gonna do a little something different today. I wanted to get into a little character dive, and by character dive I mean characters for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission. A lot of y'all have been asking about Nero and Vice, and a lot of y'all didn't play Dirge and Cerberus, and that's fine. That's why your boy's here today. We're gonna cover it. Today we're gonna be talking about who is Nero the Sable. One of the main big baddies of Dirge and Cerberus, Nero, or rather Nero the Sable, is the younger brother of Vice the Immaculate. He has a sort of dark, psychotic, slightly unhinged presence throughout the tale that really defines his character. He has a really cool look too, with his Hannibal Lecter swag, with his mouth covered, and straitjacket motif rounding out his psychotic ensemble. Did I mention the wings? Not that I have to, I suppose. I mean, they're a pretty prominent part of his design. As a dude who's into gothic dark characters and character designs, Nero checks all the cool aesthetic boxes for me, which is why I was so excited to see him being introduced as a part of the story in Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission. I believe there's a lot that he and his deep ground compadres could bring to this ever-expanding tale, but I also realize that many of you did not and are not planning to play Dirge and Cerberus, so in today's video I'm going to break down for you just who the hell is Nero the Sable, how I think he could be a great asset to the world of Final Fantasy VII moving forward. Before we get into it though, if you would, throw a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. New stuff coming all the time, and also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Kaufman20XX there in the corner of the video. So let's get started. When you first look at the character, he kind of looks like a Vincent Valentine clone. He has this long, shaggy black hair, red cat eyes, and even his body type is very reminiscent of Vincent. He even has two huge pistols that hang from each side on hip holsters. I mentioned the cool straitjacket Mako suit he wears earlier, but let's talk about the wings for a second. He can't fly, I know, that would be badass, but alas, he cannot. He does, however, make use of the metal apparatuses. Anyway, whatever. The wings have bladed sections that he uses for weapons, and he can even use the metal wings to hold and fire his guns, which is pretty sweet. His arms are exposed later, and he's got some tattoos and stuff. Aesthetically, I think he's one of the cooler character designs in the entire pantheon of Final Fantasy VII, bar none. But who is he as a character? Nero is the brother of Vice the Immaculate. Now, I know what you're thinking. Does this mean some intense camaraderie or term of endearment in some, Square Enix kind of way? They are actually biological brothers, and as the baby brother to Vice, Nero worships the ground that Vice walks on. Like, in a this guy needs therapy kind of way. Though his obsessive feelings of fealty toward Vice are not completely ungrounded in sound psychology, as they are the only siblings the other one has, they would have to have stuck together through some of the darkest of times. And being test subjects within the shadier side of Shinra, those can be pretty dark for sure. The grueling experiments in bioengineering conducted on Nero have left him with extreme emotional and mental instability, though this is where the paradoxical nature of the character comes into play. As you see, he is actually one of the most cool and even-keel members of the Civets, the main baddies of Dirge of Cerberus Final Fantasy VII. This element of the character is fascinating from a narrative and psychological standpoint because he is a true sociopath. Like, really, his care for the other Civets lies only in what they can do for his brother's cause. He cares nothing for them, as evidenced when they are taken out one by Vincent. Of course, like most of the Civets and compilation villains in general, Nero is a product of his unfortunate circumstances. Using theories from the Omega reports of Grimoire Valentine, yes, the same Grimoire Valentine that is Vincent Valentine's father, Shinra had begun conducting human experiments. Upon the birth of Nero, a portal opened and a swell of dark energy appeared and engulfed his mother, pulling her into another dimension. It's pretty messed up, right? I mean, right out of the gate, this dude had no chance of being anything approaching normal. As Nero got older and became more powerful, the researchers in Shinra came to fear him because they weren't really sure what to make of his control over the powers of darkness, as well as his raw power. So they strapped him in a Mako suit to constrain his power and straitjacketed his arms to his chest so that he couldn't wield the darkness. Then deciding that was enough of an insurance policy, they just imprisoned him inside of Reactor Zero. Nero's role in Dirge of Cerberus is pretty straightforward, but intriguing and intricate at the same time. At first, he seems to be the main baddie of the game, but as with most Final Fantasy stories, what you see isn't always what you get. After learning of Dr. Lucretia Crescent's theories surrounding chaos, yes, that Lucretia Crescent, the same one tied to Vincent, you see a pattern here? You see a pattern here? Vincent, Deep Ground, Nero, the ties. Anyway, moving on. The theories surrounding Chaos being a herald for the arrival of Omega, who Nero is convinced is his brother Vice, Nero orders Deep Ground to create a purified life stream, untainted by any Genova cells whatsoever, and to hunt down Vincent Valentine, who holds the proto-materia. See, we arrive at Vincent finally. The train finally pulls into the station, the Vincent connection. There you go. For those who haven't played Dirge of Cerberus, there you go. And the proto-materia is the key to Nero's plan, and the plan of Deep Ground in general. Thus, the plot of Dirge of Cerberus begins to unfold and shenanigans ensue. So now you're saying, okay Ray, that's great and all, but what is Nero going to be doing waking up early and fighting Yuffie and Sonon in Intermission? Well, I'm glad you asked me. Shinra does not want the Civets to be out and about. They are too powerful to control. They are slightly more powerful than the Soldier First Class members. Nero and Vice are way more powerful than the current crop of soldiers. While I don't think they're on par with Sephiroth, certainly now, by the end of the story of the first remake game, I do believe they could give him a run for his bills, especially with their inexplicable powers. But I do believe that Nero waking up and breaking free of his imprisonment early will be an accident caused by Yuffie and Sonon's interference. In the Intermission trailer, you can see the researchers shitting their pants when they see Nero is free and ready to rock. And he is ready to rock. You can see that look on his face. As darkness is out, he's ready to get down. Better believe he is ready to get down. Also, I do believe that Nero will be the guy to take out Sonon. I do believe that's Sonon's blood on Yuffie's cheek at the end of the Intergrade trailer. However, I believe it will be like a bad wound, or Nero will impale Sonon with one of his wings as the two attempt to flee after you battle him. Then Sonon will get pulled into the dark dimension. Hell, wherever you want to call it, wherever Nero makes his dark deposits. But that's Nero, and my hope is that we see Nero and Vice beyond Intermission, like they survive Intermission, because I really feel like there's a lot they can do there with the Vincent Valentine tie. Actually, I feel like it would be narrative malpractice to not have them interact with Vincent in some way, and as we all know right now, Vincent is asleep in the basement of the ship. He's still in his self-imposed slumber. So I do believe there will be a tie to Vincent. I also believe there will be a tie to Genesis between Nero and Vice. My Vice video will be coming out next week, so we'll talk more about Vice and his connection to Genesis, and I feel like Nero is actually more connected to Vincent storyline wise, not just because of the look and the feel of the character, but just because of his darkness. But we'll get into more of that when we talk about Vice. Anyway, I hope this clears the air a little bit about Nero, why you all can understand now that I was so excited about seeing Nero in the narrative of the story. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below what you're excited for. If you're excited for Nero, if you're a little more excited for him now after the video, a lot more, or if you just still don't care. You don't have to play Dirge of Cerberus to find out about these characters. I'm going to be doing another character dive on Vice next week. But until then, I got more stuff coming. You all stay safe, be good to each other out there, and keep rocking. I'll see you all in the next video.